Welcome to the Clan Hernandez podcast. There are literally thousands of other things you could be listening to right now, so thank you for choosing to spend your time with us. Our hope is that as you hear our conversations and stories, that we can provide some good laughs, encouragement, tips for navigating certain difficulties in life, and possibly even new perspectives on God the Father. We love y'all. Let's jump in. What's going on, y'all? We are the Clan Hernandez podcast, currently, the Clan Hernandez vlog, but we haven't really been doing much in that arena.
At all.
But, man, we just felt like the Lord was putting on our hearts recently to just share our testimony and share our heart on different things that we've gone through over the last 7 years together, from various aspects, such as like our dating life, early marriage, infertility, different addictions, different, just conflicts within our relationship and marriage and just in life, right? And just different things that we've gone through. And I feel like the Lord really put it on both of our hearts to kind of start sharing that stuff. And so here we are. This is what this is going to be about. But for those of y'all that don't know us, I am Nathan, and this is my wife.
I'm Brooke, and we are
Clan Hernandez. The Hernandezes.
So
or the Hernandi, as some people call us.
I like that the best.
Hernandi. Yep. But yeah, so just a little bit about ourselves and our history. We met at Bible school. There's a local ministry school here in Dallas called Christ for the Nations, and a lot of people, local people, are familiar with it. But for those of y'all that are, from back home,
Where's your hometown, baby?
El Paso, Chuco town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was super, super ick.
It's okay.
Whatever. So that's one of the cool things about this is we just kind of wanted people to, literally feel like you're in our living room with us, getting to know us.
Yeah, this was kind of like, I feel like, birthed out of, you and I will have just like random conversations all the time. And then we'll be thinking about it. And we're like, man, I wish other people could almost like be a fly on the wall in this conversation.
Yeah.
And so we just want to invite people into, we're kind of weird. We're honest.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. We're pastors at a church right now, and we've been doing that for 10 years now, as something that, we felt like the Lord called us to do. So we're not the head pastors of the church, but we are pastors at a church. Mm-hmm. It's called Overflow Church in Grand Prairie. And although we are pastors, we really wanted people to kind of, demystify that whole persona of like, oh, they're pastors. Oh, they're Christians. Oh, they're like real Christians because they're in ministry or whatever. And it's like, no, man, there's been many seasons where we wanted to give up on that stuff just because of various things. And some of those things are things we would, we want to share. We want to share our experiences in the church, share our experiences in ministry as just believers, right? Walking through different theologies, through different doctrines, in our walk. And kind of, I think a lot of times people think, I'm always going to believe this thing. Well, dude, your walk, it is always progressing. We're always getting greater revelation and understanding of what the scriptures are saying, and we grow. And so different seasons will add new theology, new aspects of doctrine to what we believe. Different trials, different difficulties will test what we believe. And they might even undo what we believe, where it's like the difficulties in life sometimes help us unlearn bad theology, bad perspectives of the Father, and so, or of Jesus or whoever. So Anywho,
You dove in deep there.
I did a little bit. We'll get into all that stuff. That's what this is about. So,
but we met at Bible college.
Bible school, y'all.
So you're from El Paso. I'm from Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
So we met at Bible college. You told me you're going to marry me.
I did.
I said you weren't.
Why? Why wasn't I going to marry you? Why did you say I wasn't going to marry you?
Because I said I was going to be celibate.
Why?
That means you don't ever get married if you're wondering what that is.
Why were you going to be celibate?
So I was going to do missions.
Okay. And you were a newer believer.
Yeah.
So you were under the presumption that...
I thought that if you were a missionary, you couldn't get married. Or you were married and then you were called to missions. So I thought if you were called to missions as a single person, I was destined to be a nun or something. But I wasn't Catholic, but I knew it was similar.
Well, you have a lot of Catholic family, and so I think there's just the connections there.
Yeah.
And so...
But anyways, you won on that one.
I did. Y'all, let me tell you something.
What are you going to tell them?
When the girl likes you,
Oh, okay.
It's going to be hard for her to hide that. It's going to be really hard for her to hide that. I knew she liked me. I already knew. This is our first semester at ministry school. And I remember when I got there, I told a buddy of mine that went to the school with me, his name's TJ, and I tell him, I'm like, bro, you need to help me stay focused. We're in ministry school. I don't need to be talking to girls and being distracted by all that. And so I want to focus. I want to be here. And he's like, all right, cool. And the first week I see Brooke, and I'm like, oh my God, who is that? And so, our friend groups started to kind of mingle, and it's that first few weeks of new school, and people are getting to know each other, and we'd end up in various places together. And I could tell. This girl.
What could you tell?
She's throwing some vibes out there, some positive vibes, and
Bible college.
And so I just remember talking to her here and there, and one day I'm walking up the stairs of one of the buildings there, and she's sitting alone on a couch, reading the Bible, and like a good little Christian girl.
That should have told you, leave me alone.
Well, no. It kind of did tell me to leave you alone. I saw you, and I was like, oh, my bad. And what did you say? You didn't say leave me alone?
I said, it's okay.
No, girl, you welcome me into that. You said, come sit next to me.
I said, you can sit down if you want.
Yeah, you're like, you don't have to leave. You can come sit down if you want.
I was just being kind.
I said, bet. Let's go. In the bag. Brooke Hood, by the way.
No.
Maiden name is Hood.
Thought we left that.
That's her real last name.
Yeah. And
so her email is B Hood. B Hood. B Hood. This white girl right here. B Hood.
But it's not B-E. It's the letter B.
Yeah,
Brooke Hood. And I didn't think that through.
Yeah. Yes, you did. I think you knew what you were doing. Girl, because you thugging.
Oh, yes. So much.
Anyway, so she calls me to come sit down next to her on the couch. And we start talking and blah, blah, blah. She starts asking me about our future and what I want.
Our future? Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Your future.
Yeah. We're talking. Okay, let me phrase that. We're talking about
what we want
our
to do with our
individual
life.
futures. Yeah, what we want to do with our life.
There
blah,
we
blah.
go.
So she's asking me. And so I'm just, nonchalant about it. I'm just like, well, I feel like I'm here to, do worship and grow in that, and then maybe do some missions work and blah, blah, blah. And maybe one day, buy a house with some property on it and do this and that. I'll get married to you, and then we'll just, blah, blah, blah. And so I just kind of drop it in there.
So smooth.
Super smooth, super nonchalant. It wasn't like that creepy Bible school kid who's like,
the Lord told me.
I think I got a prophetic word from the Lord. We're going to get married. So
get ready.
Come home to meet my mama. No, it wasn't like that. It was just kind of smooth. It was just, it was just being flirtatious.
You did pretty good.
And so she's like, well, good luck with that kind of thing, because I'm never getting married. I'm celibate. The Lord's called me into missions, blah, blah, blah.
It worked for Misty Edwards.
Uh-huh. Good old Misty. And And so I took that hint as a reminder from the Lord, like, I told you to focus, dude. Did I not tell you to focus? And so
You're welcome.
yeah, she helped me stay on track for the full semester. So
I humbled him.
that was at the beginning of the semester, and we didn't talk the entire semester until the end of the semester. We ended up in Houston.
Crazy story, but
Just completely unassociated like purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like not okay. We ended up there completely separately. Had no intentions of knowledge that we were gonna be there at the same time
with the same friend group.
But we ended up being there with the same friend group, and it was really crazy. And I said, "Okay, Lord, I see you.
Yeah,
I see you, Lord." And so while everybody else was out by the swimming pool, hanging out in the hot tub and whatnot, Brooke and I are inside at the table
eating snacks,
talking for hours.
Literally like 3 hours.
And I'm convincing this girl, yeah, you were wrong, girl. You were wrong. I'm gonna snatch you up.
It took quite a bit of
I
convincing,
said
though.
D9. Just trying to get me a little snack.
I was like, I was thinking, what kind of computer
like,
number is that?
What? I'm a little bit of a techie, but
And I'm
that's
not.
what she thought was happening there.
Okay.
No, not a techie thing. I was trying to get me a snack.
It's a chubby boy thing.
Oh my God.
Not that you're chubby.
My wife just called me fat, y'all,
You're not chubby.
on the podcast.
I'm wheezing.
Oh God. Going to the gym. The membership I pay for, haven't been to one time.
Oh, I'm crying.
But yeah, so anyway, that's just a little bit about how we met. We started dating. Shortly after that, we just kind of already knew at that point, like,
Yeah.
she was convinced. She's like, yeah, I really like this guy.
Yeah. And then while we were dating.
I know I'm like talking confident. That's literally how it happened.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this girl really likes me and I really like her.
I did really
I'm
like
trying
you.
to convince her.
You didn't have to convince me. I did like you.
Though trying to convince you that
It was
hey,
okay to like
you're-
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe you just misunderstood some things about
And I definitely did.
yeah. So but then we ended up driving back to Dallas from Houston together and just spending more time together. And so anyway, later that year we started dating, and that was pretty cool. But
So we started dating.
yeah.
And then like a month later, we helped plant the church that we're at right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So at the time I was serving at a church up in Allen, Texas. So for you non-Dallas people, it's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes north of Dallas. And so anyway, I'm serving there. Brooke is just kind of
I was being a heathen.
just church hopping.
I wasn't doing
Just
it.
church hopping, you know,
I was probably sleeping in on
Whatever.
the Sundays. I don't know.
being a college student. And so my pastor called me up one day and was like, hey, I say my pastor,
Your youth pastor.
my youth pastor from back home, Josh Brown. He calls me up one day and he says, hey man, we're going to be moving to the Metroplex to help, or to plant a church.
Yeah.
We feel like God's calling us to one of the most churched cities in America to plant another church. And he was like, Lord, why are you calling me to,
Yeah.
why do I feel such a heavy call to go to Dallas?
It was
plant a
because of
church?
us.
It was because of us.
That's what it was.
No.
We needed Jesus. Just kidding.
But yeah, so we helped plant the church.
Yeah.
And we've been there for 10 years now. We just celebrated.
We just celebrated 10 years.
Yep, in October. And so we've been there since day one, just serving that vision and serving our pastors.
It's been awesome.
And it's been one of the most rewarding, challenging,
Yeah.
sometimes frustrating experiences, but above all of that, the most rewarding experience. Just being a part of that process of helping create culture and helping.
I mean, literally
build
building it
something.
from the ground
Yeah.
up.
There was no other like major denomination that helped us plant. We didn't start with any money.
Yeah.
Like
So they came out here and it was them,
yeah,
us,
Right.
and one other couple.
whatever money was there was literally our
was-
money. Like
mean,
it was
They were really trusting us little
College
broke
students.
college students to help fund their
struggling
tithes.
to pay our school bills and
Yeah.
whatnot. And so, so we helped plant the church, and like I said, we've been doing that for 10 years now, and we just got a new building, our first official
Yay.
building, and that's been,
It's a historical building.
how old is it?
It's 100 and something years old. I think 8 or 13.
I don't know. It's over 100
It's
years old.
over 100 years old.
It's called the Historic Anderson Building in Grand Prairie. And, man, we've been waiting on this building for a while. And just knowing that what we've been experiencing at our church lately over the last like year and a half, almost 2 years, has just been really special.
Yeah.
And it's been unlike all of the, previous years at the church. These last, year and a half to 2 years, it's just been something different. Like the Lord's really just doing something special there in that house, and we've been outgrowing it. And so anyway, we got a new building, and so that's been really fun. We just started renovations on that demo, like a week ago.
Yeah.
So a lot of work to be done, a lot of money to be raised there, so we can finish all our renovations. But just really blessed to be
a part of that.
Yeah, and I know that's like super Christianese, but genuinely, we feel blessed, honored to be a part of that process, and a part of this church family. So so that's a little bit about us and what we've been going through over the last 10 years together. But we really just want this podcast to, like I said earlier, just be a glimpse into our life and into our hearts, and being able to kind of glean really more than like having giving an opportunity for people to hear us. It's just, we really feel like we want to share the things that the Lord has shown us through the things that we've gone through. And so we hope that above everything, above, yet another podcast being released and put out there, like, we just want people to possibly see Jesus in a new way that maybe they haven't before. We want people to be able to hear this and hear our stories, and almost feel like they've walked closer, they've stepped closer to Jesus, just by hearing the things that we've gone through and what he's shown us in that stuff. And so, anywho, we've gone through a lot.
We have
gone through a lot
in 10 years.
When did things start getting hard, would you say, like, in our relationship? Because I asked that question because for what, the first 4 or 5 years of our marriage, like, it was cake.
Like, people say the first year's hard. It was not at all for us.
No.
Like,
second year cake.
I think it's because we dated for so long, though.
Yeah, we
dated for what, 3.5 years?
We dated for almost 4 years
before we got married. And so then our first year of marriage, it was easy. Like, we'd already done life together for so long. We kind of knew each other. We knew how to fight, right? It wasn't hard for us.
We didn't really ever fight anyway.
No. Yeah.
And it was just because
it's also because you're in that Christian bubble and people are,
but
I feel like it's just easy.
It can be.
It was for us, at least.
But we know plenty of people that's just
true.
not the case, right? And they grew up in the same, or they went through the same kind
that's true. That's true.
Bubble, right? I feel like more than that, I think it was just in the dating season, we really took the time to, like, work through our crap. Yeah,
that's probably why we dated for so long.
Yeah.
We had some baggage.
Yeah. It's like, I think a lot of times people rush into marriage a little too quick. I'm all about people, like, getting married quick. Like,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And bro, we even thought, we're like, man, we want to let's just get eloped. Like, because we were so excited to just be married. So I get that. And I get that excitement. But I think sometimes that can actually be to your detriment.
Yeah.
If you don't just slow down and work on your stuff, work on your traumas, work on your addictions, your struggles, whatever it might be, work on that stuff and involve each other in it. Because
be honest.
You can't jump into a marriage, you can't jump into a relationship, much less a marriage, without the intention of being willing to be honest.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to be vulnerable, and vulnerability is a scary thing, so I get that. Man, that relationship's going to be to your detriment. You're going to waste your time. You're going to waste each other's time. It's going to cause heartache, unnecessary heartache.
More pain in the end.
Yeah. And so I think it was just, we took the time to date and work on ourselves and involve each other in the things that we were trying to better in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm like saying that and harping on that a little bit is because you need someone, if especially if you have the intention of marrying them, you need someone who's going to partner with you as you work on those struggles, whatever the struggle might be.
Yeah.
You need someone to partner with you, not, kind of be an onlooker, a bystander, hoping that you work on your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's too many relationships out there where it's like, that's his struggle, that's her struggle. They need to fix it.
They need to figure it out.
Yeah, they need to figure it out.
But you're a team.
Exactly.
You're one. Whatever you're dealing with,
right.
I'm right there with you. Whatever I'm dealing with, you're right there with me.
And it's not easy to do that when you're already in a covenant of marriage. When it's like, there's no leaving. Mm-mm. You know what I'm saying? I guess technically you could, but it's like,
for us, no.
No, it's like you're
never
in a
leaving me.
No.
Just kidding.
Help me. No, I'm saying like in a dating relationship, like you have the freedom to go home. You know what I mean? Like
you can go a few days without, you can process it.
Yeah, process
away
the
from
things,
each other.
Exactly. And it's
That's
healthy. Right. And so we did that. We did that a few times. Not like, hey, we can't talk for a few days. No, it was just more so like, hey, that was a really good talk that we had the other day, like being vulnerable, blah, blah, blah. Let's just, I know this is like super Christian, but hey, we're Christians. Surprise.
It's not super Christian to say, let's pray about it. Are you going to say, let's pray about it?
Yeah. Like, let's take time to just like pray about this.
Yeah, you should pray about that.
I know, but it's just sometimes that verbiage.
No, it's,
biblical.
Hey,
if you're a Christian, hey, you should pray.
Yeah.
You should talk to the Lord about things. Involve him.
I don't know.
Or something. And so I think that was one of the biggest things to helping our marriage start off on the right foot and strong. Yeah. And that the ease of the beginning of our marriage lasted years.
Yeah. It was so fun. It's
yes.
still fun, but like it was just so easy.
Right.
And then
getting back to the original question, when did things start getting hard for us? I would say years 4 and 5, we're starting to that's when we really started to experience just tension.
Turbulence. Some turbulence.
Intense fellowship, as Pastor Josh likes to
would
call
say.
It. And there was a lot of reasons for that. There was, I started really allowing frustration and annoyance, and I kind of started getting out of the word a little bit, not like purposely. It's just
life got busy.
Life can happen, and if you're not stewarding the word and stewarding that time with him, your flesh can start to, show its ugly face. And I was justifying not being in the word as much as I should have been, not spending as much time in just like one-on-one alone time with the Lord in prayer. I was justifying it because I would listen to worship all the time in my car. So for me, it was just like, oh, the Lord is with me all the time. The Lord is with me everywhere.
Yeah.
I listen to worship all the time, and so I'm always worshiping. When in fact, half of the time that I was in my car, and this is something that I want to challenge worship leaders on, and people who find themselves to be involved in the worship circle. Half of the time, when I was in my car listening to worship music, quote unquote worshiping, I was just subconsciously and a little bit consciously testing my ability to sing those songs. Like, can I sing those songs?
The
How do I
honesty.
sound singing those songs? You know, let's just be real. Like, that's what a lot of us find ourselves doing instead of actually like worshiping. In the car or in the house or wherever, especially if you're a musician or a singer or worship leader, you know, you find yourself a lot of times seeing if this song fits me. How do I sound doing this thing? And then it's like, oh yeah, I spent time with the Lord that day. It's like, no, dude, like
You had some vocal warm-ups.
to some Christian music. Congratulations. And so I started allowing just distance in prayer and in the Word to really start affecting my emotions. And also I had a job that at that time that was just it just wasn't like,
it wasn't a good fit for you.
It wasn't a good fit for me. I found myself just coming home really stressed and frustrated because of that job. And
and then while all that was happening, we were dealing with infertility.
Yep.
We started trying to have a baby, couldn't have a baby.
Year 5, right?
Year 4.
Year 4 is when we started trying, and we couldn't for 2 years.
Yep. So it was tough times. That was hard, but I feel like, which is something we'll talk about a little bit later on in a different podcast, I think, because it was really tough, but we made it through. We still love Jesus. We still love each other.
I would say we both are at a place where we feel like we love Jesus more than we ever have before. Yeah. And at the same time, I feel like I'm less religious than I ever have been before. And you
just were unlearning things that were taught to you.
Yes.
Because I didn't grow. So this is something we haven't talked about. I didn't grow up in church.
Yeah.
You were raised in utero.
Yes.
Speaking in tongues, probably.
My mama was speaking in tongues over her belly.
She said.
Over her belly. She was rubbing olive oil all over her belly.
Pre-anointed.
Shatarabakasate, Lord Jesus.
And thank God she was.
Yeah, she was.
Because boy, you needed the prayer. But
it was a season.
You did.
A chunk of time that I needed some of Mama's prayers.
Thank God for her.
Came through.
Thank you, Diane. Love you.
Had some demons come off me.
Thank God it wasn't in my house. But yeah. Never mind. Okay. So you were raised in a Christian home. I was raised in a Christian home, but not going to church.
Yeah.
And so for me, I wasn't super religious.
You guys went to church for a little bit.
For a little
part of your life.
I was very little.
Yeah.
And then I was a competitive dancer. My brother was club soccer. Right. So we didn't go on the weekends because we had stuff.
Yeah.
We were traveling.
But it was a Christian family.
Yeah. But it was just not.
But it wasn't the typical
No.
Like my family was very much like revolved around ministry, around all of that, and very much Bibles everywhere, scripture verses everywhere. Like that's all my mom thought about and talked about 24/7.
I love your mom.
If there was any issue that ever came up, there was never really it's just a sit down, like let's just have a real conversation. It always revolved around scripture and what the Lord has to say about
preached to almost.
Yeah. And Mama,
great.
You know,
You're
I love
the best.
you. And I needed that for different seasons, but I would say that in other seasons, you know, I think I grew to have a lot of different frustrations in the church, in the ministry circle, because it was like everything had to be a Christian answer. Everything had to be, you know,
God is good. I'm in the deepest depression of my life. Oh, God's still good.
But don't talk about it like that. Don't declare it. Don't speak it over your
Yeah, and I had some people tell me that when I was dealing with infertility.
Yeah, don't say you're in. Don't say you're
right
infertile.
Now would be telling me, don't say you're dealing with infertility. That's speaking death over your body.
Right. Say that you know.
Say that I am fertile.
I am fertile.
Okay, but where's the baby? In my belly. So, you know, there's
a balance is what we're trying to say is that there's a balance in acknowledging the current circumstance.
Yep.
I am dealing with this. I am struggling with this. but I'm also believing
for my healing.
I am also believing that the Lord is good and that he can do it.
And he did.
You know? Exactly. And so it's like, but a lot of times in the religious circles, you just have all this like uber positivity. It's almost like, it's not,
people call it quote unquote toxic positivity.
Sure.
I don't love saying that.
Sure.
Because I don't really like saying that, but I see where people are coming from when they say that.
Yeah, it's coming from a good place. Like,
because like there's so much truth and like not just so many scriptures say to be thankful, right?
Right, speaking things that are not as if they are. You know, speaking life. You know, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Like all that we
believe it.
100%. You believe that, but I think people that I grew up with, we took it to the extreme, and it was like you couldn't even acknowledge that. Oh, like, yeah, I'm sick right now. No, you're not sick. I'm speaking life. And it was very much like a word of faith thing. It was like, if I just say it enough and if I just don't acknowledge it, then, the Lord will move. And it's almost like we're like twisting the Lord's arm.
Yeah.
By like, you see me, Lord? Like, I'm declaring your truths, Lord. And it's almost like.
You think you're twisting his arm.
Yeah, you feel it.
It's really, honestly,
you're not.
As somebody who is a doer, and I went through all of that, I realized I was that way. That like I didn't think I was like that until I went through all my infertility, and I realized, no, I do things it's almost out of like a root of manipulation, and that's terrible. But I would tell him like, I've done this and 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 this, and I thought it was because I was trying to like do my best and be excellent, right?
Sure.
But realistically, I was just doing those things because I wanted to be able to almost like use it as ammo to the Lord. Like, why are you not letting me have a baby?
Sure.
Look at all these things I've done for you. Like I haven't done this and this and this, and you are letting that person get pregnant.
Yeah.
And that is not a right heart to have.
That's not the right heart. Yeah.
And
exactly.
since we went through
it's
it,
like,
it really showed me my heart had some very nasty things in it.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, you did. You had some nasty things in
I'm so glad.
You nasty
I'm so
girl.
glad that the Lord told you.
No, it's like the prodigal son's brother. It's like he could not celebrate what the father was doing for his brother because he felt like,
wow, never thought of myself of that, but I was that. I was that.
He felt like, man, why does he get to have that? Why does he?
Why
it's
does he
like,
get this
dude,
big
you're not
celebration?
realizing you're already a son.
Yeah.
All these things are already yours. But like, let's celebrate because this person has come home, or let's celebrate because this thing is happening in this person's life that they've been praying for and they've been believing for. And you had some people in your life even that, when you got pregnant and you struggled with, you struggled getting pregnant for a while, and
I had an amazing group of women.
You had a group of women, and it's like, but even then, you had some prodigal son brothers in your life that didn't and couldn't celebrate with you.
It was hard
because they were also believing for
really
fertility
hard
on their life, and it's hard when you see someone get the thing that you've been believing for.
Yeah. So true.
And so that's kind of stuff that you walk through as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then, so we dealt with infertility for 2 years, and we'll go more into this in, I think, a few episodes. So I don't want to give away too much because it's really awesome. Yeah. But I ended up getting pregnant. Yeah. The Lord just healed my body.
Yeah. There's a lot of incredible,
it's so good.
Jesus details.
But I don't want to rush it.
Yeah, we're not going to rush that.
Good.
Details, but we encourage you guys to wait for that episode. It'll be coming out here pretty soon. And so, but yeah, so we ended up getting pregnant finally, and now we have 2 little girls. 2 little girls. And
it's about to be their birthdays. Yeah. Today, I'm just gonna be a mom for a second.
Do it.
My youngest, she turns 1 in 8 days, and she just started walking out of nowhere everywhere today because she wants to break mama's heart. That's why.
Every day before this, it's like 2 steps,
a few steps,
3 steps, but I'm gonna crawl. We've been able to tell that she's
she could have walked about 2 months ago.
She just chooses crawling's easier.
I'm a baby.
And so So today I was out all day, and just running different errands and doing work, and Brooke calls me up, and she's like, Bella's been walking all day.
Addie.
I'm sorry.
We got 2 of them.
Bella's been 2.
She's been walking for a while.
She's been 2 for a while.
She's been 2 for a whole year. That's fine.
Addie, and so Addie's our youngest, and she'll be a year in a
8 days.
Yeah, in 8 days, and so that's pretty wild.
Ugh.
We're super.
Anyway, so we have 2
happy.
babies. That's what we were trying to get at.
2 little babies.
It's crazy.
We are definitely open to having more, and really excited about when that happens.
It always hits the year mark, and I'm like, I want more babies.
What is it about motherhood that you love? Or what is it about, let me rephrase that. What is it about just the newborn or the pregnancy phase, just that whole like first portion of getting pregnant and having the baby? Like, what is it about it that like, you're like, I want another one?
I think it's just because like I dreamt of it for so long. And so it's every single time I'm pregnant, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I imagined it would be. Like, I'm going to cry. It's fine. This is exactly what I imagined pregnancy would be like. And I feel nauseous all day long. Oh, but I'm so happy because I have a baby. And I love birth. So I'm a doula as well. I'm a doula. And if you don't know what that is,
Hit her up,
I
y'all.
helped. Yeah.
If you're pregnant, this
help.
girl is your girl.
Let me
She'll
help you
out.
Let me help you get through birth. And so I just love birth in general. Like seeing babies be born, feeling strong as I birth babies. Oh, I just love it. I could do a whole nother podcast. I won't. I'll spare you guys the details, but I love birth. So
The Doula Podcast.
Yeah, the Doula Podcast. I'm sure there's a million of them out
Oh,
there. They don't need my touch on it. But so I just love, I love feeling the baby move. I don't love that I make such big babies. That's not fun for me, but I still love them. I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, my baby, last one was like 9.5 pounds, right? She's huge.
She's a big baby. And
She is
then
now.
Bella was what?
She's only 8.
Yeah.
She's my first.
But you're saying it's an 8-pound baby in your
In
body.
my body.
It's still pretty
I'm
big.
a tiny little woman.
How tall are you, Brooke?
5 pounds. What? I wish.
How tall are you? 5
I'm
pounds.
5 pounds, boy. I'm 5 feet tall. 5'1".
Ooh, on a good day.
I'll give myself
Ooh,
an
on
inch.
a good day, y'all.
I'll give myself an inch. Hold myself taller.
An inch.
I was a dancer.
An inch matters.
To me? Oh. Didn't know we were Nathan Hernandez. Okay. So this is also
An extra inch matters. That's all I'm saying. You can take that however you want to take it.
Well, so we have our 2 daughters, and I love being pregnant. That's what we're getting back on. So yeah, this is how our life is. If you were just like hanging out with us, this is how it is 24/7. Nathan,
What?
do better.
I am doing great.
You got me off track now. Now I can't figure out where we're supposed
She's
to be.
thinking about that extra inch. Oh. Yay! Glory to God. Love
If
it.
you're single, I'm so sorry. And
I'm not sorry. You got something to look forward to.
yes. So what's next?
What is next? Let's see. Yeah, so 2 miracle babies, infertility, planning the church. But yeah, I guess we could just
Well, what do you
give
do
some
right now? Well,
expectations.
what do you do right now?
What do I do right now?
Yeah,
Like,
our jobs.
yeah. So I work at the church. I'm a worship pastor there at Overflow, and man, it's been one of the most rewarding experiences. We started in 2020. I mean, I started that role in 2020, and then COVID happened.
Literally, COVID happened 3 months late, 2.5 months later.
Yeah. So like any plans that I had for it, like, throw those out the window. We just kind of had to roll with that year, right? But since then, since the beginning of 2021-ish, man, it's just been really cool to see our church, really kind of start to shift a little bit.
It's been so good.
And that wasn't, and I'm not saying that was due to me whatsoever. That's when things started shifting. I took the role. Our pastor started kind of going
Shifting
through some things, right? Like, and shifting as well, and shifting his desires for the church, and just kind of asking the Lord, like, Lord, what do you want this to be? Instead of it being, Lord, Lord, this is what we want our church to be like. it was like we hit this point where it was just like,
We just want the Lord.
what do you want this to look like? Because
because 2020 hit and it looks nothing like we thought it was going to look like.
Right.
So we just want what the Lord wants.
Right. And then really that should have been the perspective from the beginning on all of our parts. But I think the Lord, you know, we're all we're doing is trying our best to be obedient to what we feel the Lord is saying. And so it's like, and in every season, like I talked about earlier, and every season that you go through, the Lord will reveal new things and reveal some things that you got wrong and some things that you did right, you know. And so I feel like right at the beginning of 2021, things started to shift in the church, and man, it's just been a really special season for our church, and kind of starting to see that worship culture grow there, and seeing people really start to understand like the why of worship, you know, getting a grasp on who we're worshiping and what he's worthy of, you know what I mean? And so that's been really, really rewarding, serving the vision there. And then aside from that, I'm a part of a local songwriting like chapter, I guess you'd call it. It's just it's a group of local songwriters started by a guy named Chris Martin. Yes, from Coldplay. Kidding. Not from Coldplay. And he is also based out of CFNI, and I mean, he's from Nashville, but like a lot of people locally know him from just his music at CFNI and stuff like that. And so him and his wife Demi, they started a local group of songwriters, and that has been some of the most like positive, challenging, and one of like the biggest ways that I feel like I've grown.
100%. I actually told you this, but I recently reached out to Chris and Demi to like thank them for starting the songwriting group because of how much I've seen it just encourage you and grow you. As a wife, like that's all you want for your husband is for them to be like thriving in what they're doing, and to see that has just been like a dream come true. So thank you, Demi and Chris.
I would say that there's, and this could be, you know, something that we talk about at a later time, but there is something so vital about anyone, you know, male, female, whatever, finding the thing that you're passionate about that scares you. Like, find the thing, like if you were to ask yourself, like, man, I remember Pastor J.C. Jennings from Christ for the Nations, he said one time, he said something along the lines of, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. You know, it's like,
it's true.
If your dream doesn't scare you, find another dream, or like that's not exactly what the
sounds
thing
like
was.
Sounds like on a plaque, actually, hanging that above my bed.
That was really the word. It wasn't the exact like words, but it was like along that message there. Like, find the thing that scares you, and for me, that thing was songwriting. Like I've been doing worship for, you know, worship leading to some degree since 2000 and I want to say like 2009, 2010.
Before I knew you.
And so like I can lead worship all day, but when it comes to the vulnerability of songwriting and just that whole aspect of creativity, like, is hard. It was really hard, but find that thing, not just hobbies, but like find that thing that you're passionate about and pursue it. Pursue it. And if you can't like muster up the courage to pursue it, get around people who will push you to do it. People who are pursuing their dreams. Maybe even pursuing the dream that you're trying to go after. Sorry, that's our little girl.
I don't know if they heard it.
There's 3 people in my life that are constantly pushing me to pursue my goals and pursue the things that scare the heck out of me. Our little girl's crying right now. But the first one is Brandon Walker, one of my best friends, Christian Baker, one of my other best friends, and Chris Martin, quickly becoming one of my best friends. And those are 3 guys that are constantly pushing me and challenging me to go after the things that scare me.
Yeah.
because there's something there. Why is that thing so scary to you? What does the Lord have for you there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I'm just excited that I've had people in my life to help push me and to start doing that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
What about you? Different, like, what are some things that you have started to pursue?
So being a doula,
Yeah.
I've been doing that. And then I helped start Pen My Love with Christian Baker's wife, Monica Baker.
And what's Pen My Love?
Pen My Love is, we really just encourage women. We have a podcast. We love to write. So we've written a devotional. We'd love to write more eventually.
A devotional is a 3-part devotional, right?
It had, so sort of. It was one that was to moms, and then we made like small devotionals to women who had miscarriages and women who dealt with infertility.
Yeah.
So
a little plug there for y'all.
Thank you so much for that. And then really it's just a lot of encouraging people to know the Lord, sort of a lot of what we've talked about. That's just really my heart. And then at the church, my pastor makes me preach. So
she does so good preaching, but I understand it takes a lot.
It really, like, that's, if you said, Brooke, like, what scares you most? Preaching.
Interesting.
That's not what I want to do with my life. Like, I don't feel like that's really what I'm called to do.
Right.
I would love to, like, go and speak at places.
Yeah.
That would be my dream.
But speaking versus preaching, you feel are two different things.
To me.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like
for your personality type.
For my personality type, I'm not going to get up there and be all like yelly, preachy.
Yeah.
Like, I love it when my pastor does it. It makes me love the Lord more. But I think if I went up there, they'd be like, this girl needs to get off her PMS. Like, what's wrong with her? No, for real. That's what people would think about me. That's what would happen. And so that's just not my personality. So
sure.
I'm very fiery about the Lord, but I don't want to go and preach,
Right.
I would love
to be able
to
to
go
do it the way that you do it
and teach. Yeah. Or just talk about the Lord.
Right.
So for me, that's really what I love to do. Helping moms bring their babies first side. Yeah. I don't catch them. I don't do nothing. I just tell them how to breathe and push on their backs.
I don't do nothing.
I don't do nothing, Jesus. Just kidding. So, yeah, that's what I do. And I stay home with my babies now. Yeah. Oh, it's the best. I live the best life.
Yeah. You always thought that you were going to be a full-time working mama.
I prided myself on being I was a full-time working mom with my first. And then I worked a lot, like 11-hour days.
So her first 2 years.
My first 2 years, yep.
Full-time.
Mm-hmm. And worked at the church.
Yeah.
And was getting my doula certification.
She's a boss.
And I was doing Pen My Love. And
boss.
No, that's not the Lord. I should not have done all the things that I did. But now the Lord's using it.
Right. And that'll be something that we talk about soon. Mm-hmm. And kind of, expound upon.
That's it. That's me. That's all I got.
Yeah. Just real quick before
what's you gonna say,
before we close this out. You had said something one time, and it's always stuck with me. You had said when it comes to like working full time, while being a mama, because for some ladies that's what they do.
Only option.
Yeah, it was just like you. Like that's just there was
my only
no
option.
It was your only option in the sense that like you loved to work. You loved doing it.
I loved my
job. There's
still times I miss it sometimes.
Yeah, and there was no concept for you of not working. Like you were just like I want to work. I love working. I love bringing in money and just doing something that that I love to do. But you had said that you came to the point where you realized that every yes that you said to something else was a no
to my baby girls.
Your baby girl.
Well, baby girl.
For you. Right? That may not apply to everybody, but for you specifically, that was something that the Lord had shown you that, hey, have you asked me, not me, Nathan, but the Lord, right? Have you asked me what I want you to do? You know what I mean?
What's best for your family.
Right, what's best for your family. And then you said that he kind of showed you that every time that you say yes to something else, it was a no to Bella. Mm-hmm. And so for her first 2 years, you almost felt that other people were raising her to
They
an extent.
were.
Yeah. All the
Yeah.
babysitters and the people who helped us out.
Yeah.
You know, your parents, Jen Hendricks.
Shout out to everyone. Brandon watched her a few times.
Brandon yes, go.
Uncle
You
B.
know, all of them. You know, Jess Frost. All of the people that have helped. You know, for Bella's first 2 years while you were working, while both of us were working, and so I just I'm excited to talk about that some more at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited about doing this with you, sitting down
Same.
and sharing our heart. So anyway, that's
It's the first episode,
that's
y'all.
the first episode.
That's what
I
you
got
get.
nothing else for you. We got a lot coming up. Episodes on infertility, on porn and marriage, just boundaries in marriage or boundaries in relationships, stuff like that. Life after Bible school, just different expectations that people kind of come out of ministry school having.
Unmet expectations in that realm.
Yep, unmet expectations. We got one coming up either this specific season or shortly after that. I got one with my brother. That's going to be just talking about like broken families and blended families.
It's going to be good.
Just diving into that a little bit. And so we got a lot for you guys, and we're really hoping that y'all, you know, subscribe and kind of just go on this journey with us. And we really hope that our stories and the things that we've learned through them really minister to you and show you a facet of the Lord that maybe you hadn't known before. And so anyway, that's pretty much it, y'all. Love y'all. We'll see y'all chapter
Apparently
2.
That's what we do now.
Y'all.